News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Nathan Hager.
And I'm Lisa Mateo.
Lisa, we begin with the latest on the attack on the two National Guard members in Washington, D.C. One of the West Virginia Guard members who was shot near the White House has died. President Trump announced it during his Thanksgiving phone call to service members.
Sarah Beckstrom of West Virginia, one of the Guardsmen that we're talking about, highly respected, young, magnificent person, started service in June of 2023, outstanding in every way. She's just passed away.
And President Trump says the other wounded Guard member, Air Force Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf, is still in critical condition, fighting for his life. The suspect in their shooting has been identified as 29-year-old Rahmanullah Lakanwal. He's an Afghan national who had worked with U.S. forces and the CIA before arriving in the U.S. in 2021. West Virginia Governor Patrick Morrisey says his state has the Guards back.
This is unspeakable violence. An Afghani came in and did outrageous things. We need to have a comprehensive investigation, and ultimately, that investigation needs to lead to justice.
Virginia Governor Patrick Morrisey spoke in a Thanksgiving address to his state. Attorney General Pam Bondi has said she would seek the death penalty if either of the victims died.
And now, following the shooting, Nathan, President Trump is calling for reverse migration in the U.S. as he outlined a series of potential measures to crack down on immigration. They include halting admissions from unspecified developing nations, also revoking citizenship from some naturalized migrants. In a pair of Truth Social posts late last night, the president said he would permanently pause migration from all third world countries and denaturalize migrants who undermine domestic tranquility. He added that he would terminate millions of admissions under his predecessor, Joe Biden, and remove anyone who is not a net asset to the United States or is incapable of loving our country. President Trump also said he would end all federal benefits for non-citizens.
And during that phone call with service members, Lisa, President Trump said his administration may cut income taxes sharply for Americans.
Over the next couple of years, I think we'll substantially be cutting, and maybe cutting out completely, but we'll be cutting income tax. Could be almost completely cutting it because the money we're taking in is going to be so large.
President Trump suggested revenue coming from tariffs would make up for the loss.
Well, at least 128 people are now known to have died in that devastating Hong Kong fire. It's still unclear how many residents remain unaccounted for after the blaze tore through a cluster of 8 residential towers, although it's still too early to tell what caused the deadly fire. But there is now intense scrutiny of the financial center's enforcement of safety standards and use of construction materials after inspections had flagged risks well before the disaster. Derek Armstrong Chan, the Deputy Director of Fire Services for Operations, says his crews are now going from apartment to charred apartment checking for more bodies.
Our firefighting operation is almost complete. Despite that, we are still carrying out firefighting operation to 4 individual units, and damping down to various units of the 7 blocks are still in progress. So as to prevent the debris and embers from flaring up.
Hong Kong's Deputy Director of Fire Services, Derek Armstrong Chan. Now, police have arrested several senior figures from an engineering company on suspicion of manslaughter.
Well, Lisa, Russia's President Vladimir Putin says he is open to talks about a peace plan with Ukraine, though he says no final version exists yet.
We can see that American side bears in mind in some way our position, which was discussed and encouraged. And after Alaska, we have to sit down and discuss certain concrete issues. We have to translate it into diplomatic language.
That was Russian President Vladimir Putin speaking through an interpreter, and the Kremlin has confirmed that White House Special Envoy Steve Witkoff will visit Moscow next week and meet with Putin. And that's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Nathan Hager.
I'm Lisa Mateo, and this is Bloomberg.